It's about that time for some more zombie slaying action. Since the repop version is coming soon, I figured now was the time to finally start this game that's been sitting in my shelf and collecting dust. So today we're diving into the wild, wacky, and outright crazy world of Lollipop Chainsaw. A game that's equal parts zombie slaying action and over-the-top cheerleader mayhem. This game is the brainchild of none other than the legendary Goichi Suda, better known as Suda51. Yep, the same twisted mind behind No More Heroes, Killer 7, and of course, Shadows of the Damned. Oh, and did I mention James Gunn? You know, the dude behind Guardians of the Galaxy? He was also the writer of this game. Before he was making us all cry over a talking raccoon, he was writing this crazy love letter to horror and pop culture. In Lollipop Chainsaw, you play as Juliet Starling, a high school cheerleader with a serious zombie problem and a freaking chainsaw that would make Leatherface jealous. Now, why the hell are we talking about this game today? Well, if you're anything like me, you're not satisfied until you've squeezed every last drop of content out of a game. That means hunting down all the trophies and finally grabbing that sweet platinum. Juliet and her chainsaw have a few tricks up their sleeves, and some of these trophies are going to make me want to smash my controller into a million tiny pieces. But that's all part of the fun, right? So let's get straight to where it all started. And the first trophy I snagged was all about rescuing my poor, unsuspecting classmates in the prologue. Now you'd think these high schoolers would be a bit more aware of their surroundings, right? Zombies everywhere, blood splattering the walls, a freaking cheerleader wielding a chainsaw like she's auditioning for the next Evil Dead. And I get it, they weren't exactly trained for a full-on zombie apocalypse. Lucky for them, however, Juliet is more than equipped to handle the situation. And with a chainsaw in hand, I managed to save every one of them, earning the lifeguard trophy. I felt like a goddamn hero. For about 5 seconds until I realized I had to rescue even more later on.
Jesus God, get off me, you bastard! Oh shit!
And next up is Juliet 51. This one required me to successfully land 51 drop kicks. Clearly a cheeky little nod from Suda 51 himself. Now, given that Lollipop Chainsaw is a mash 'em up, button mashing kind of game, this trophy was bound to pop sooner or later. But let me tell you, the journey to get there was anything but straightforward. Before I even started playing, I thought, I'm a gamer, right? So might as well start my playthrough on the hardest difficulty. And immediately I was already feeling the game trying its damnedest to kick my ass. Because let me tell you, even with the difficulty dialed up to 11, the game is still pretty easy overall. But, and this is a big but, at the very beginning of the game, when Juliet is just a regular cheerleader with no upgrades, power-ups, or anything resembling an advantage, she's an absolute nightmare to play. And not in a good way. The zombies? Yeah, they hit harder. They soak up damage like they're made of bulletproof jello. Meanwhile, poor Juliet is out here with nothing but her pom-poms and a chainsaw that might as well be a plastic toy. It's like trying to fight off a horde of rabid squirrels with a pool noodle. Frustrating, painful, and a load of absolute doggy doo-doo. But then I discovered my secret weapon, the dropkick. Oh yes, the mighty dropkick. It turns out if I spam the hell out of this move, I can knock zombies into a groggy state. You know, when they're stumbling around like they just took a frying pan to the face with little stars circling around their heads? When they're groggy, they're vulnerable, and a single hit is all it takes to send them packing. So what do? I dropkick those zombies
into oblivion.
I spammed the ever-living crap out of that move because honestly, I was getting my butt handed to me in every other way. And just like that, bam, trophy unlocked. Oh, trophy, Juliet 51. Still in the prologue, and the game introduced me to a new type of enemy, the hazmat zombie. These guys usually roll in packs of 3. You've got 2 of them who are pretty squishy, and there's the tanky one. You know the type, big, mean, and carrying a literal gas tank blocking every incoming damage. Because why not? First off, he's completely immune to dropkicks, which as you can imagine, was a real kick in the groin after my recent success. And if that wasn't bad enough, when he reaches a certain point in the fight, he starts throwing this gas tank around like it's a game of hot potato. Only in this game, if that tank hits Juliet, it's GG. But after a few close calls, I managed to take him down, earning another trophy in the process.
Testes in my pants.
What? Trophy. With that out of the way, I was finally ready to move on to chapter 1. As soon as I reached the school, things took a turn for the bizarre. Juliet's boyfriend Nick got bitten by a zombie, and just like that, he's ready to join the undead club, chomping away on anything with a pulse. Now, if you've ever watched The Walking Dead, you'd think you know what happens next, right?
Only one way to keep you alive.
this is Lollipop Chainsaw we're talking about, and things are never that straightforward. Instead of doing the logical thing, Juliet goes full-on horror movie and decapitates Nick with her chainsaw.
What the fuck?
I love you too, baby.
I mean, at least chop off the arm first, goddamn. But wait, it doesn't end there. Apparently our cheerleader has a few tricks up her sleeve. She slaps a spell on Nick, and just like that, he's alive again. Well, sort of. He's still human, but he's also just ahead now. At least now Nick's ahead in life, right? Look under his skirt. I mean, I've seen under her skirt multiple times. She like flips around like a madman. You gotta trust me, dog. It's a trophy I never mislead you. She's covering it, dude. You gotta sit there for a sec. Oh, trophy, I swear I did it by mistake. Oh, thanks you. Thank you. That's actually crazy. How did y'all know this? Don't worry about it. Anyway, after that wild intro, I finally made my way through the school. First thing I did, hit up the in-game store and grab my first combo move. Because if I'm going to be slicing and dicing zombies, I might as well look good doing it. Oh. Zombie Hunter Apprentice. While I was at it, I picked up 1,000 zombie medals along the way. I also found myself playing a round of zombie basketball, because what's more normal than shooting hoops with the zombie heads to stop a school from blowing up? But that wasn't the end of it, because now I had to deal with a bunch of flaming zombies who were trying to get too close to Juliet's dynamite-strapped birthday cake. And let me tell you, there is a lot of bombing happening in this school. It's kind of concerning. Eventually, I got to the bottom of who was behind the whole zombie outbreak. And of course, it was the emo kid.
Because tonight will be the night that I will fall for you.
Then entered Juliet Sensei, because if we all know classic anime stuff, it's that all senseis are perverted in a way, for some reason. I forgot what his name was already, so I'm just gonna go with Pervy Sensei, honestly. He tried to stop the main bad guy only to die tits up. Emo kid over here then summoned 5 souls from hell, specifically the souls of a punk band. Because the joke here is that punk's not dead. Anyone? No? Okay. And that's when I knew it was time to face our first boss, Zed, the band's screamo vocalist. Zed's power? Screaming, like really loud. So loud in fact that his screams turned into physical letters and flew at me like lethal confetti. And I learned this the hard way, getting smacked by flying alphabets before I even realized what was happening. It was like Sesame Street gone mad. Except today's episode is brought to you by the letters FU. No. While I was dodging these alphabet attacks, Juliet and Nick were busy trading My Chemical Romance references.
That My Chemical Romance wannabe is distracting.
I really said My Chemical
Love that
Romance.
song Teenager. Have you heard that?
That's not important now, Nick. We have to kill this guy.
But after dodging a barrage of even more letters, avoiding Krillin's Destructo Disc, and sawing through this giant stereo system, I finally managed to shut Zed up for good. Yeah, dude, shut the hell up. No? Trophy. With loudmouth silenced, it was time to take on the next member of the punk band, the drummer, who just so happens to be hanging out on the Flying Dutchman's ship. But before I could reach him, I had to figure out how to get there first, which involved riding my chainsaw across the rooftops like Tony Hawk. But of course, it couldn't be that simple, right? No, this guy also had the goddamn power of Zeus and kept spamming lightning strikes at me like some kid playing a fighting game for the first time. He kept spamming that thing and it actually caused my game's frames to dip so hard that I thought I was back in the early 2000s playing on a potato. I'm talking 10 frames per second here. It was like time unslowed down just so I could savor the full experience of getting zapped repeatedly. But eventually, with the help of Juliet's big sister, I made it onto the ship. Now it was time for a one-on-one showdown with this wannabe Kiss drummer. Fun fact, this guy was voiced by none other than Michael Rooker. You know, Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy and Merle Dixon from The Walking Dead. As soon as I heard that distinct voice, I knew exactly who it was. I mean, who else sounds like Michael Rooker? This man could be voicing a toaster and I would still know who it is.
Ymir, let's cut this bit into bite-sized chunks.
Now on to the fight itself. Easy enough, but definitely annoying. Like most bosses in Lollipop Chainsaw, this guy had 3 or more phases to drag things out. His body kept attacking me while his head played pinball around the ship. The head phase was hands down the most frustrating part. I had to wait for it to slow down, then cross my fingers that I'd land a hit before it started floating again, firing off some weird Kamehameha style bullshit. But after enduring that relentless assault and finally beating Mr. Valhalla, I finally bagged another trophy. Trophy. With the ship crashing down, I was thrown straight into the country territory. Because, of course, this zombie apocalypse had to take a detour through the land of cowboy boots and southern twang. This is also where I ran into Juliet's sister, Rosalind, who was easily the craziest of the bunch. And naturally, she was in trouble, so I had to help her stop her runaway bus. Because in a world where zombies roam free, why not add an out-of-control bus to the mix? During this chaotic stage, I managed to snag a couple trophies though. One for destroying 300 objects, and another for killing 500 zombies. The whole stage felt like one big trippy adventure. I mean, there were giant mushrooms everywhere, and for some reason, Juliet decided the best course of action was to slice them in half. She's the expert zombie hunter here, so who am I to question her methods? But the minute she cuts one of these mushrooms, I'm suddenly thrown into a mini boss fight with giant chickens. Yeah, you heard that right, giant chickens. Because why not? After my mushroom-induced battle with the poultry from hell, I found myself waking up in a tractor. You know, those slow, clunky rides I used to love messing around with in GTA San Andreas. And for some reason, beyond my understanding, this was a minigame. Why? Because why not? Eventually, I caught up with Rosalind, only to find out that she wasn't actually our real sister. Surprise! She's another boss from the zombie band. And I'm guessing she's supposed to be the bassist, unless she's just a groupie who deals drugs. But either way, it's time for a fight. Her battle was actually pretty cool. Every time I beat her, she'd duplicate. By the final phase, there were about 16 of these hippies floating around. So I had to channel my inner Scarface and just blast it away at everything in sight. And finally cutting down the real hippie lady, I snagged another trophy. Dead trophy. And as it turns out, I never left the crash site. She just had me tripping balls as soon as I landed. Oh, and to top it off, Rosalind had been kidnapped by one of the other band members, the techno piano guy, Josie.
Hey there, Juliet. Are you ready to boogie woogie?
Who is this?
Josie's in the spaceships of Sunday. Alright, I'll stop. Now this part of the game wasn't my favorite. It was a tribute to classic games like Pac-Man, Pong, and some random side-scroller. But the most annoying minigame by far was the one where I had to slowly climb up the side of a building while dodging a bunch of crap getting thrown at me. If even a hair touched me, I had to start over from the beginning. And this would come back to haunt me later on my journey to the platinum. But finally, after what felt like an eternity, I reached Josie, who was holed up in the most annoying level only to be the easiest boss fight in the game. All I had to do was shoot him a few times until he crashed, then saw him in half like every other boss. His final phase took us to space. Again, because why not? He was in a UFO or something, and I just had to destroy the Tesla coils around the ship while his minions harassed me. And after that, boss fight done. Trophy. With Rosalind rescued, thanks to Juliet's goofy-looking dad, it was time to go after the final soul, Louis, the guitarist. In this stage, the sisters helped out, with the oldest sibling giving me sniper cover. Although honestly, I never saw her shoot her gun even once. But hey, she was there and that's what counted. Rosalind also made a comeback, now wielding a wrecking ball. Because again, why not? Dude. This, however, netted me another trophy for not getting hit by her wrecking ball. So, trophy. After solving my way through the undead hordes, I finally met up with the school bomber, and wouldn't you know it, this is where the guitarist made his grand entrance. And like the badass he is, of course, he rolls up on a flaming bike straight out of Ghost Rider. But even on the hardest difficulty, this boss wasn't too tough, just annoyingly long. This dude had more phases than an overdramatic soap opera, and by the end, I was practically begging him to just give up. After his first phase, he transforms his bike into a goddamn elephant transformer. I mean, come on. But after slogging through a billion phases, I finally beat him and earned a trophy for taking down the legend. Yeah, right. Trophy. And surprisingly, I also beat our dad's high score for stage 5 on my first try. Turns out all this was part of the main bad guy's plan to have us hunt down these zombie rockers as part of his ritual. And what does the ritual summon? None other than KILLABILLY, a giant zombified version of Elvis. What the actual But anyways, it's final boss time. The game kicks off with me in the middle of the street while this massive blob of a zombie chucks cars at me. So I had to ride my chainsaw down the highway, taking out zombies along the way until I finally reached KILLABILLY. For a big guy like him, the only weak spots were his hands. So I spent a good chunk of time sawing off his fingers. This also netted me a trophy for cutting off 20 of his fingers, because they just kept growing back. Oh, trophy. Fingered. Pause. And this is where Juliet's dad makes his blaze of glory sacrifice, flying his bike strapped with explosives straight into KILLABILLY, opening a path for Juliet to get inside and take out the big bad from the inside. Nick also has to sacrifice himself to finally kill KILLABILLY and the emo kid once and for all. It's a pretty sad end for our heroes, but then again, this is Lollipop Chainsaw. Of course it didn't end like that. Apparently God himself gives Nick another shot at life, but with a little mix-up this time. And Nick ends up in Pervy Sensei's tiny body. But hey, a happy ending is a happy ending, right? And guess what? Dad survived too! Not even with any serious injuries. He just literally busted his nuts doing all that because because why not? This also snagged me trophies for collecting all the phone messages, which was a gimme, clearing stage 6 while surpassing Juliet's dad's score, again, for the first try, and for defeating KILLABILLY. After the ending scene, the game shows the aftermath, and wouldn't you know it, Juliet's mom ended up as a zombie herself, giving me the bad ending trophy. Apparently you have to rescue every single one of your classmates to avoid this ending. If even one kid turns, you automatically get the bad ending. Honestly, it's probably good I got this first, because if I'd rescue everyone on my first go, how would I even get the bad ending? You know? And with that, it was time to start mopping up the collectibles, rescuing all the classmates, and tackling any miscellaneous trophies along the way. First up, I decided to tackle all the Lollipop collectibles scattered around the map. As I went hunting for these sugary treasures, I also picked up some map-related trophies, like getting struck by lightning 10 times.
Ow! Lightning feels like ass!
There we go, trophy. And leapfrogging over zombies 10 times in a row. You know, just your everyday zombie apocalypse activities. One of the more interesting trophies was for harvesting all the crops in the first field with the combine during stage 3. Yeah, you heard that right. The game wanted me to do some good old-fashioned farming, not just slaying the undead. It got a little tense because I didn't want to kill all the zombies in the field until I've gone over every last crop. There we go, legendary harvester. I also locked out with a sparkle hunting master trophy, which I earned by snacking 7 zombies at once. This one sounded like it would be a nightmare, but somehow I pulled it off without even trying. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. 7 of them. What the heck? That's a good one. Trophy. And then came the lollipop hunt in Josie's area, a part of the game that almost gave me nightmares. Normally, this stage is a breeze if you take your time and shoot all the obstacles and enemies chunking stuff at you, but for the No Fear of Heights trophy, I had to finish this level without firing a single shot. This meant dodging every piece of debris those threw at me, leading to countless falls off the building. I was halfway up the building, feeling confident, that BAM! A random object knocks me off and I'm right back at square one. Do that at the same time. Over and over again. But after what felt like an eternity, I finally made it to the top. I was done with the segment for good, or at least until the remaster comes out and I have to relive this hell all over again. Finally, getting a little heated there. The last second trophy. Then there was the critical UFO finish trophy, where I had to defeat Josie in the last 10 seconds of the fight. This one was just plain weird. It's like the developers thought this fight was some epic challenge, but in reality, it turned into an awkward waiting game. I had to sit there for a few minutes watching the timer tick down before I could finish him off. Not exactly thrilling gameplay, but hey, a trophy is a trophy. Should be it. Trophy. Another bizarre one was the Elephant Tamer trophy, where I had to counter Lewis's attacks 10 times. This involved just standing still and waiting for him to charge at me. And the game gave me such a huge window to counter that it wasn't even a challenge. It's not like Lollipop Chainsaw had any challenging fights, nor am I a good gamer anyways, but you know what I'm talking about. But I had to do this 10 times, so I just kept waiting until the trophy popped. Seven. Oh, trophy, never mind. Never mind. Got it. During the KILLABILLY fight, I had to reach him while clearing all the car's QTEs in a row. Dodging was also counted for this. As long as I didn't get hit with a car, this trophy was as good as mine. Oh, trophy. And after that, I finally collected all the lollipops in the game.
You killed a Sasquatch?
Sure, tons.
And it's the last lollipop.
It's my favorite. Sasquatch
Should have another trophy.
kind of monster. I didn't even know it existed.
Trophy. And after saving the last classmate, I snagged another trophy. Nice. There we go. That should be a trophy.
Those zombies totally pulled my underwear up my butt.
Nice.
Oh, watch out!
Trophy. I also made sure to buy all the stat upgrades for Juliet. Oh, here we go. Another trophy. Trophy.
What should I get?
Perfect body. Then it was time for a rematch with Zed, where I had to dodge and counter all his electric balls 15 times. Oh, never mind. Watch out for the balls. Trophy. And surpassing Dad's scores in the first stage and the prologue, and buying all the combos from the store. Should be a trophy now. Saw the abilities. There we go, Master Sushi Chef. Trophy. The Gold Medal Racer Go trophy was next, which involved picking up all the zombie medals on the rooftop. Sounds easy, right? Well, it turned out to be way harder than I expected. In one section, I had to go right instead of left because the last batch of zombie coins was hidden there. But here's the catch. The right side had a time limit before blowing up, and I could not for the life of me figure out how to move fast enough, and I kept getting crushed by falling buildings. What? What the f- How? I'm so confused. And after finally making it past that part, the trophy still didn't pop, until I realized I missed a few coins mid-jump.
I see the ship. The very best kind, too.
If the trophy doesn't pop, I'm gonna cry. Yeah, what did I mess up on? Oh, what the hell? What are those? Oh, did I just miss a jump? That's so boring. So I had to reload my save, fight off these beefy zombies again, deal with the lightning strikes, and endure the 10 frames per second nightmare all over again. This nearly drove me insane. Ain't no way, bro. But after many frustrating attempts, I finally grabbed all the zombie coins and earned the trophy. I don't know if I grabbed all of it. That was a weird jump.
I see it.
There we go. And while I was at it, I also got one for gathering 10,000 zombie medals. For the cheerleader overboard trophy, I had to stand on the side of Vicky's ship so the lower half of his body would knock me overboard. It sounds simple, again, but the legs would push me without sending me over the edge. And if anything, this game will probably send me over the edge first before the leg ever will. Wait, am I not getting knocked off? But I had to stand on a very specific part of the ship for this to work, and I got it eventually. There we go. And that should be the trophy. And you're dying. Trophy. While finishing stage 2, I managed to get 30 headshots as well. A bit tricky because anything other than a chainsaw felt so finicky in this game. And of course, I surpassed that score again on stage 2. For the third eye trophy, I had to dodge all of Mariska's bubble attacks, which had my heart racing. There were so many things happening all at once, man. Like, I was just flipping around like a maniac just to stay alive, and eventually, I earned the trophy. There we go. Third eye. Trophy. And trophy. Advanced Zombie Hunter. The Zombified trophy required me to complete the zombie album by killing all the named zombies. The game helpfully marked off the ones I already defeated, but some of these zombies only appeared on hard difficulty, which is why I started on hard in the first place. While hunting down all the named zombies, I also hit 3,000 kills overall and got another trophy. Oh, trophy. Zombie Slayer. The last named zombies I needed was found in the Trials mode. And here I had to kill the zombie of Chick-fil-A because why not? Because why not? Because why not, dude? There it is. That should be the trophy right there for all. Trophy. And finishing all the trial modes to get me another trophy. However, surpassing Dad's score on stage 4 proved to be more challenging than expected, because on one of my trial runs, I fell just short of beating his score. So I switched to easy mode and tried again in the regular story mode. Somehow I ended up with an even lower score, which left me completely baffled. To rack up points, I had to do everything: saving classmates, pulling off combos, acing minigames, and finishing the level as fast as humanly possible. Even then, I still couldn't beat that score. So I looked up a strategy and found a cheesy method. In one of the side-scroller minigames, I had to purposely fail a QTE where Juliet would jump over zombies. This would cause her to fall, but the zombies would stay in place, allowing me to activate Sparkle Hunter and rack up points by killing multiple zombies at once. I kept doing this until I was happy with my score, finished the level, and claimed the trophy. Desperate times call for the stinkiest of cheese, am I right? Let's go, there we go. Trophy. Super Zombie Hunter, finally. Every time I surpassed Dad's score on the level, the game would reward me with a new vinyl soundtrack. So I headed to the nearest in-game store, bought the rest of the BGM, and jammed to another trophy. Trophy. And then it was time for the grindiest trophy of them all. This wasn't even the game's fault. It was actually mine. Because the entire time I played, I had no idea that pressing R3 or L3 or something did anything special. Apparently, I could have been using Nick as a weapon the whole time. But somehow I missed that memo and completed the game without even using him once. Now I was in trouble because the Love Nick trophy required me to kiss Nick 100 times, which Juliet does before using him as a cannonball or something. But to use Nick, I needed a Nick ticket each time, which I'll need to buy in the store to get some more. So I needed a lot of medals to make this happen. Thankfully, I had plenty of money saved up by this point, so I spent hours at a shop near the end of the game, constantly activating Nick and hoping to get the fastest skill with the quickest animation to finish the trophy. After about an hour of this mind-numbing grind, I was ready for a random cheerleader to break into my room and chainsaw my head off, without the black magic. Just to end this torture. But in the process, I also spent 10,000 medals at the shop. Oh, trophy. Super Shopper. And finally, after using Nick 100 times, I got the grindiest trophy, well, at least for me, out of the way. Because naturally, I like to make everything harder for myself for no reason. There we go. Trophy. Finally, dude. And with all my classmates saved from becoming a bunch of stinky brain-eating zombies, I was able to finish the game and getting the happy ending, along with the platinum trophy.
Oh, Juliet, I almost forgot.
That's sweet. But give me my freaking trophy, dude. There we go. Happy birthday. And the play. So here we are again, another game completed and another video wrapped up. I hope you guys enjoyed the ride. If you did, hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, keep it real, y'all, but not too real, because that's just boring. And I hope everyone has a phenomenal day. Trophy!